guys, welcome back to Linda's Pantry. So today we're doing a canning project. I'm so excited. We're going to can some ground beef. Now, I know I've done that for you in the past, and I will post that video below in the video response section. Cat's Cradle did a video the other day, and it was about dry canning ground beef. And she posted the links of where she got her information. I went and researched and read the articles, and I just really felt like this was good information. And I researched on the internet and looked for videos, and nobody's posted a video that I could find on this. So I thought, you know what, I would want to see a demonstration, and I'm willing to do the test for you guys, and I'm also going to do a comparison video afterwards. So that being said, this is a dry canning method, and what they do, instead of cooking the ground beef and then putting it in the jars and putting boiling water over it and hot lids and rings and pressure canning it, you are cooking the ground beef, putting it in the jars, leaving out the water step, putting the hot lids and rings, putting it in the canner, and pressure canning it for the amount of pressure and time for meat, and the pressure is for your altitude. So I'm going to try it, and it makes sense to me because all the air is pushed out of the jar in the canning process. So somebody said, well, it would have air in the jar and that would spoil it. No. So not if they're canned properly. So we're going to do this, and then we're going to do a comparison video. I'm going to make tacos with the meat and with some fresh ground beef and see how it fares up with each other. And I hope you stay along for the ride. I also hope you go over to my Facebook page and like that page. I'll be posting videos over there as well. And as always, you guys, let's go do this. It's going to be fun. All right, I'm glad you stayed along for the ride. I already got things started here because it's going to take a little bit of time. So I've ground off, this was 6 pounds of ground beef, and it's 12% fat, so it's really pretty lean. I don't care if it's all in little tiny pieces. I'm okay with it being just the way it is. I've got my jars over here in the sink. I boiled them for 10 minutes, even though that isn't really that necessary. Because of this dry canning process, I want to be extremely careful. So it got boiled in water for 10 minutes, and then they've been sitting in boiling water in the sink until this got finished. And then they'll go into the canner. So these are 1.5 size jars, and I would get a slotted spoon or a spoon that has some way to let off the excess liquid. There's water and a little bit of fat. I highly recommend, I'm going to link the video for Cat's Cradle's video, and I recommend you guys go read the articles from Jackie Clay. Just really a wealth of information. And then you're going to just kind of get your little pokey thing, whatever you use, a non-metallic, so you don't scratch or chip a jar. And fill that up. I'm hoping this holds about a pound and a half. That's how I bought the meat, was figuring out, because usually you can get about a pound of meat in a pint jar. So you want to leave an inch of headspace, so I might have it too full now. And I don't want to pack it down too awfully tight, I don't think. I don't know. That looks about right, actually. Perfect. So, got there a couple more little pieces. I'm excited. I love doing new projects like this. And then I'm going to now, I've got my lids and rings over there. Now I'm going to go ahead and wipe the rim down. I inspected all these jars. These are brand new jars, but I still inspect the rims really well and the jar for any cracks or anything. Because when you spend this kind of money, you want to make sure that your end result is going to be a wonderful product. So, I don't see food prices going down at all. I see them going up, up, up. So, got our lids and rings. This is going to be finger tight. And then I'm going to go put it in the canner. Isn't that pretty? I'm going to go put it in the canner, which is not up to a boil, but the water is hot. So we are keeping everything at a good temperature together. Okay, get another jar. I'll do another one for you, and then I'll just get the rest done. And then I've got another batch of meat to cook, because I figured it was going to take, well, I want the canner full, so I want 8 jars. And I bought 12 pounds of meat because I knew there would be some waste with liquid and fat. And, whoops, wrong one. There we go. So this couldn't be easier. It's just that it's gonna, the timing for the canning process, because the Ball canning book does not have a time set for these 1.5 jars yet. I'm sure they will. Or maybe if I went directly to their site, I could find out. But I'm gonna be on the safe side and can them for the quart size timing. I'd rather be safe than sorry. Sorry. Okay. And there's that one. That one could use a little bit less, I think. There we go. Okay, and then wipe the rim. Make sure there's no anything on it. And put that back over there. Grab us a lid and a ring. And on we go. Finger tight, hot, it's nice and hot. Okay, and in the canner. So I'm gonna finish the rest of these, get the second batch of meat going. I'll bring you back when I am putting the second batch of meat in the jars, and well, I'll let you know how much 12 pounds of meat. It may not do 8 jars. We're gonna find out. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, here's another 6.21 pounds of meat. So altogether, let's see what the other one was. The other package was, well, it was over 6.19. So roughly almost 12.5 pounds of meat. And I just let this do its thing, go about my business. I got some stuff to put away from the store, so let this cook and get all browned up. And but why I brought you back is I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Cat's Cradle's video, a little bit more, I should say. Jackie Clay is who she refers us to, and it's she writes for a magazine called Backwoods Home, and she writes articles, and this is who Cat's Cradle trusts. And if Cat's Cradles trust her, I trust her, because I trust Cat's Cradle. Anyways, it's a trust all. I truly hope that you guys go check it out, because being self-reliant is not just about knowing how to do a few things, but also opening your mind to learning how to do other things you hadn't really decided that was okay, or that you had never heard of. I had never heard of this method before, so I'm anxious to try it. And yeah, I could have done a small batch and tried it out to see if it worked. But worst case scenario is I've got canned ground beef for Sage, because in a situation I might need it. You never know. So anyways, I hope you guys stick around, because as soon as this is browned off, I'm going to go ahead. The last 6.19 pounds of ground beef filled 4 of those 1.5 jars. They're waiting in the pressure canner in the hot water, and they're just waiting for these guys to get in there, and we'll get moving on this. Okay, I'm excited. It's going to be amazing. Okay, guys, we're just about ready to load some more jars, but I did want to tell you, I had for a long time, and it bugged me how they could can this dried beef in here and yet we were putting liquid in jars, and so now it's all coming full circle for me. So you could actually can dried meats as well. Pepperoni. This package of pepperoni is good, and you don't have to refrigerate it until you open it. So you could can pepperoni, you could can crumbled sausage, you could do all kinds of things with this type of application, and I'm excited to just open up a bunch of new doors. I love this. I really, really like this idea. So my other 4 jars have been in the canner with the water just below a boiling temperature and the lid on to keep the whole canner warm. And now we're going to go ahead and start jarring up some more. I need to get I need to get my lids and rings back over here. They've been sitting, they're still in hot water. And we'll move that there. Okay. I'm gonna give this a jar. Asbestos fingers. Ooh. That was warm. Okay, and then we'll turn this down because it's ready. It's all cooked through. And like I said, I don't mind if it has big chunks. I can always break it up. They're not too big. I can always break it up when I do whatever application I'm going to do, whether it be spaghetti sauce, chili. Super excited. I hope you guys are excited as I am. This was about, this represents about $38 worth of ground beef. So I want it to be successful, that's for sure. I just kind of pack that down in there a little bit. I guess why you don't think of these things too is because we're really taught to get all the air bubbles out and all that. But there's no reason, if you don't pack it too tight, that the air cannot get out up through the meat. So there's that. Right, wipe the rim down hot. And let's get us a lid and ring. And I want to thank you guys while I have your attention. The video of when I didn't feel good and I made a little pot of chicken and dumplings out of food storage, or my extended pantry as I like to call it. I got, I think, 80 some responses, and there were back and forth 80, but everybody that responded wished me well and wished that I would get better soon. And so it was like getting all these get well cards and bouquets of flowers. It was just a really sweet thing for you guys to do, and I so appreciated it. When you're not feeling good, those things make you feel better. Yeah, it wasn't good. I'm at the tail end of it though. I'm getting better. I just still, now we've got fires and stuff in the area, and it always messes with my sinuses just a bit. I think I'm allergic to the smoke. But draining off this liquid, and I'm gonna get busy. I love this. Love it. Now I wish I would have bought some sausage. The only thing I'm kind of concerned with, and I haven't opened up, I need to open up sausage to compare it. I would probably want to make my own sausage, so it didn't have the sage in there, because I hear that the sage will become kind of off tasting, or it changes the flavor, and so I would probably make my own. Okay, that's good. Without sage in it, and add the sage later, I'm thinking. So, that being said, got another jar. Okay, I'm going to finish up these jars. We're going to rest them in the canner and get the canner going. I'm excited. Okay, take a sip of my tea. Notice my iced tea glass. These make perfect iced tea glasses. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so there's the little bit of meat that's left, And the little bit, this is like water, mostly water. There's some fat in there too, but it's more water than liquid from the meat. So that's going to go over Sage's dog rice. She's getting a treat. And this really is good ground beef. So I'll take you over. We did get 8 plus that little bit. 8 1.5 pints. Oh, I can't wait. Okay, so I've inspected my lid, make sure that the vent hole is clear, that the pressure button will move up and down freely. My handles are all on tight. And I make sure before every canning that I inspect that, even if I just used it, because you never know. We have minerals in our water, and that can cause things to get clogged up. So I do have a couple glugs of vinegar down in the water because of the hard water, to keep the jars from becoming cloudy and icky. And so anyhow, I'll be back when it's venting. Okay, I just started the timer for 10 minutes. That button there in the back, that has popped up. That means it's pressurizing, and it's venting out the vent hole. You want to make sure you let it vent for a full 10 minutes. Very important. If it did for some reason build up too much pressure, this little rubber gasket would pop out and resurface your ceiling. And everything in the jars would break, everything in there, because it would lose pressure so fast that it would cause a temperature change, and it would be a bad thing. But I've never had that happen, and I've never heard of anybody having that happen. So, anyhow, we are going to let this continue to vent for 10 full minutes, and then we're going to put the weight on it. And the weight that I have for this, it's a 2-part weight. Let me see if I can show you. It's a 2-part weight. So it's got a top weight here. It's been on there so long it doesn't want to come off. Hold on. I promised it would come off. This top weight, if it would come off, would make that a 10-pound weight. But adding that makes it a 15-pound weight, and or 15-pound weight when you are pressurized. So once it's on over the spigot, or whatever that is, the vent hole, then it starts the rocking motion. Once it starts the rocking motion, it is up to full pressure, 15 pounds of pressure, and that's because of my altitude. We're at 4,500 feet, and so we have to have the full amount of pressure to do it right. And so once it's rocking, then on my stove, I keep it between a 7 and an 8. And it seems to be perfect. I've never ever had a problem. I would like to go pressure can outside, but I would worry without having a gauge. I would worry that it wouldn't get hot enough, or I don't know. So anyway, I'm heating up the house again. All right. Hope this helps for the people that are new to canning, because I know when I first started, I didn't have anybody really didn't have YouTube, so it was always call your mom or call your grandma, or, be there in a big canning session. That's how we learned. So, you're with me. Okay, well, I'll be back when this is done. And remember, I'm going to process it 15 pounds of pressure for 90 minutes. That's a long time. Hey guys! Woo! I'm so excited! We're back, and I'm getting ready to take these out of the canner. Now, I let the canner come down off of pressure after the 90 minutes at 15 pounds of pressure for my altitude. It was really neat to hear that rocking, and to know that I'm doing a new experience that I've never done before, and I'm getting to bring you along for this, because it's a great learning experience, so I'm super excited. Now, back here, the little button has gone down to release. All the pressure has been released down on its own, and I've let it sit here for another half hour. It's still really hot, don't get me wrong. It's really, really hot. But I'm anxious, and I'm going to go ahead and open the canner. So you always, when you start twisting this, make sure that when you open it, you tip it away, because there's going to be some steam coming out of there, as you can see. Just a little bit. Some hot water dripping down the side of that lid, and then I set my lid over to the side. Smells like ground beef to me. Oh yeah. Ooh, and they're bubbling in their own juices right there. So it did keep some of its own liquid, I guess you'd say. Ooh, hearing the ping. Woo! Gotta love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. And I'm gonna go against some rules here. Normally I would touch these jars for 24 hours, but I'm gonna make dinner with this tonight. We're having tacos. And I'm gonna give you a fair comparison. I'm gonna be really honest with you, as always, and let you know exactly the texture opposed to the other ground beef and how soft it is. So I want to leave plenty of airspace in between my jars so they can cool on their own. You don't want any fans around or any drafts, because if these jars were to start cooling down too quickly, it could cause them to break. And oftentimes in the wintertime, because it's cold in here, you know, we keep the house pretty cool, I will leave them in the canner to cool down a little bit on their own. And still have about 1.5 inches of water in the bottom of the canner, which is good. Another little FYI, you always want to have plenty of water in there. 90 minutes is a long time, and even after venting, you still are losing some steam out of the top of that. And you want to make sure that you are equipped with enough water in your canner. If you run a canner dry, you have ruined it. So that would just be a shame, even on a more inexpensive canner. So let's see. Ooh. And I'm working on a Craigslist deal for an all-American canner. The guy lives quite a ways from me, about 2.5 hours. I'm going to offer him a little bit more money, maybe some jelly. No, I'm going to offer him a little bit more money if he can bring it to Reno the next time he's in town and see. We're just kind of emailing back and forth, but let me give you a close-up of how beautiful they are and what they're doing, because they are boiling. See them boiling away? So there still was some liquid of their own. I didn't add any liquid to this. But wow, look at that. That's awesome. I'm so excited, you guys. I can't wait to show you the comparison. And I truly hope this inspires you to try something new. I had never thought of this directly. I had when I kept looking at the chipped beef or the, you know, the dried beef in the jar with nothing in there but air, you know, and it's really, there's no air in there. But I thought, how can they do that? And it always intrigues me. If they can do it, I can do it, in my mind. So I have 8 1.5 pint jars of the ground beef, which represents about $38. So I'm really hoping that it turned out well, and Sage is really hoping that it was a flop and that she gets to eat all of it. I'm just kidding. Anyway, hope it inspires you to try something new. Maybe try this, pass it on to your friends, share it on Facebook. I couldn't find another video on this, so thank you, Cat's Cradle. You're always an amazing, inspirational leader in this community we call YouTube, and I appreciate everything you do. And I will post all the links in the description box from my Facebook page right on down to all the information that you might need for this, and Cat's Cradle's video on what inspired me to do this. So hope I see you next time. Listen to that. I hope I see you next time. I hope it brings you back, and I truly hope you were inspired by this one. And as always, guys, God bless.